action, and we begin tonight here at 6 with a CBS News New York exclusive. A 13-year-old boy is lying unresponsive tonight in a Queens hospital after getting shot in the head on his way to school yesterday morning.
I'm trying to get him to breathe. I'm calling 911, talking to him, telling him to breathe, breathe, breathe. He just started crying, and I don't know. And
he was laying on the ground?
Yeah, laying on the ground.
Now, one of the most feared situations amongst parents is having to hear that your child lost their life and left this world before you. Typically, how life works is that you bring a child into this world, give them the tools they need to get into the real world, become successful, and you sit back as a proud parent watching your creation grow using the same knowledge that you gave them. And being that death is inevitably promised, your only hope is that they continue a legacy with your name as you transition. Now, the worst nightmare that can happen is you getting a phone call, text, or visit of someone telling you that your child has been unalived, especially when they barely even got to live their life at just the tender age of 13. Let alone early in the morning when you're expecting your child to either be on his or her way to school or already there. Can you imagine watching your child leave to go to school only to find out an hour or so later that they have been shot? To make matters worse, you don't know if they're going to live or not, but you're hoping a miracle happens so your kid doesn't have to leave this world before you. Well, that same nightmare we just described has become the actual reality of a Queens, New York mother who sent her son Sanjay Samuel to school only for him to never return. This is because it said that Sanjay was on his way to school when he would be gunned down before he could even get there. Witnesses have described the horrible scene as being sad because before the 13-year-old went into a coma, he was actually crying and trying to breathe. Some are stating that this situation was gang-related, where it wasn't just some random attack on the child's life, but instead, he was targeted. The reason is unknown, and we're not sure if Sanjay was in the streets himself, or why police would suspect that it was gang-related in any form. But I'm sure after they do their proper investigation, then they will have answers for the public. We're going to go over what happened to this 13-year-old boy who was shot and is now on life support, because doctors told the family that it's unlikely that he'll pull through. Before we get into the video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button so we can get this video into the algorithm. And if you're not subscribed to the platform already, make sure you do so now. Let's get into it.
Sanjay Samuel was on his way in life, just weeks into his freshman year of high school, spending his free time playing basketball, fishing, and dancing. But all of his vibrancy and joy was gone in an instant Monday.
When I was at work, my son called me and told me like, oh, Sanjay get shot, Sanjay get shot.
His dad was working at Cohen's Children's Hospital, where Samuel is now on life support. The 13-year-old was shot in the head on the way to school in Cambria Heights. Tears streaming down his face as a stranger held him. But his family can't figure out why Sanjay.
As a parent, it's very hard, believe me.
Detectives are looking for the shooter, who they say rode up on a scooter and had a Jaws backpack, argued with the teen, and then shot him.
The bullet is still lodged in his brain, but they say the damage that the bullet does, though, if they end up doing surgery, it's going to make it worse.
With no brain activity, his parents, siblings, and family are praying for a miracle.
Since he was small, he would come over and play with my son, he and his older brother.
His longtime neighbors were also devastated to hear about what happened to the loving boy some even knew as a baby.
We definitely will see him with his family playing basketball. We see him around. He's always friendly, always respectful.
Mayor Adams decrying the violence while vowing to continue to rid the streets of illegal guns.
This touched a lot of people. I mean, I would say it touched the whole of New York City.
Now, according to an ABC News article, it'll say, quote, "The search continues for the gunman who shot a 13-year-old boy in the head in Queens. 2 police officers now stand guard outside of a Dunkin' Donuts in Cambria Heights, while a 13-year-old boy with a bullet in his brain fights for every breath. Sanjay Samuel was on his way to school on Monday morning when someone approached him and shot him in the head. They believe the young teen was the intended target. Surveillance video shows a boy running into a deli, appearing to tell other kids what happened. They come outside, stunned and upset. Detectives also recovered surveillance video that indicates the shooting was targeted. Police say the suspect came up to the victim and his friends on a scooter, and after words were exchanged, he fired 1 shot, striking the victim in the head. surveillance video of the shooting has not been released yet. Neighbors promise support while detectives search for the shooter and society wrings its hands over youngsters settling grievances with guns. Samuel had just started high school and was hoping to try out for the basketball team. Now, he is on life support. As detectives race to make an arrest, Samuel's traumatized family is left praying for a miracle.
Linden and Springfield Boulevards here in Cambria Heights, Queens. Police saying that around 8:20 this morning, a 13-year-old boy was shot in the parking lot of this Dunkin' Donuts. That 13-year-old boy taken to the hospital in critical condition. In the hours since, we have seen a very large police presence here. It's also worth noting a large presence of school safety officers. Now, it's certainly too early to talk about motive, a suspect or suspects. Police still very early on in their investigation. But again, bear in mind the time, 8:20 in the morning. That's when kids would be headed to school. The age of the victim, 13 years old. Certainly safe to assume that's a kid that might have been headed to class. We did talk to a woman who was able to help that 13-year-old after he was shot when he was laying on the ground. They waited for that ambulance together. Here's more of what she had to say.
When I came out my car, I was about to walk in the store, and I heard another little boy saying, "He dead, he dead." And I seen two people like just standing there looking, so I walked around the corner and I seen the little boy standing there.
Again, a 13-year-old boy in critical condition in the hospital after being shot in the head in the parking lot of this Dunkin' Donuts here. Police still beginning their investigation. No word at this point on a suspect or suspects.
Now, once again, right, it's not much information that is known on the situation, but we do know that they say it was an argument prior to the shooting after the suspect rolled up on a scooter. They say it was a brief back and forth between the victim and the suspect, and then a single shot was fired into the victim's head. Now, here's the thing, y'all. In other reports, police say that it was gang-related almost right after the shooting occurred, and it could be due to one or two things. One, someone cooperated and told them some intel on the situation and let them know that it was gang-related themselves, or two, they're just assuming it was due to the circumstance in which everything happened. I hope it's not two, so we're just gonna go with one. Now, if this was in fact gang-related, then it's an unfortunate situation because due to how they described everything happening, it seems like the victim was targeted out of everyone to be approached. Clearly, he knew of the victim because words were exchanged, hinting that it's possible that they could have been ops. But with that being said, yes, he was only 13, but there's kids as young as that age who are out here in gangs and carrying out these heinous acts. From the outside looking in, it sounds sad that a kid of that age had to suffer being shot on his way to school, but the reality of it is that we don't know what these kids are actually into these days. Now, in that same area, there was another kid who was shot and unalive back in 2009 after school around 3:15 p.m. Reports say that one kid had got into a fight and was getting jumped by 3 other guys. He pulled out a firearm and began trying to shoot any of the 3 that he was fighting, and he missed all 3. However, stray bullets would hit other kids who had nothing to even do with the fight. One kid was shot in the thigh and taken to the hospital where he was expected to survive. And another kid was shot in the head by a stray bullet and he was pronounced deceased on the scene. That kid would be known as 13-year-old Kevin Miller. Now, unfortunately, this will also take place in the same area as the shooting as the other one took place 2 days ago outside by the Dunkin' Donuts parking lot, because before Dunkin' Donuts was there, it was a car wash. So the area itself has been a hotbed for violence, but it's increasing as more and more kids are indulging into the streets, and instead of fighting, they just want to shoot, throwing their lives away at a very young age. Now, the worst part of it all is that Sanjay's mom has spoken to the news, and you can see the hurt in her face, because even though the doctors told her that if they do a surgery, it may cause more damage than it already has, so there's nothing that they could really do to save him, but yet she's still praying for a miracle to happen. Now, is it possible that he could be saved? Maybe. However, the odds, unfortunately, is very slim. And I get it, because no one wants their kid to go, especially before them, until all options are actually exhausted.
Heartbroken. That's the word the family of a 13-year-old boy shot in the head Monday is using to describe the moment since. Right now, Sanjay Samuel fighting for his life in this hospital.
You're a fighter, and I know you're going to fight through this.
A mother holding on to hope, holding back waves of grief as her son, Sanjay Samuel, lies in a hospital bed unresponsive.
Sanjay's not doing well. Sanjay's brain dead and nothing going on. He's not breathing on his own. He's not doing nothing.
Police say the teenager was shot in the head while walking to school here outside of the Dunkin' Donuts in Cambria Heights Monday morning. Tuesday, NYPD patrols sit outside. A lot locals say is a hotspot for kids in the community, a community his family says loves him.
Sanjay was fun. Remember Sanjay? The same way he is very fun. Fun little child to have. And Sanjay will have the whole neighborhood up and running all the summer.
He was so well liked among his peers, so it was very shocking to them, this occurrence basically.
His family tells me Sanjay liked to stay active and loved basketball and dancing. He had just graduated from middle school earlier this year and attended his prom in the spring. Those moments, memories from the past, the present, a tragic battle. While the person who pulled the trigger remains on the run, a mother filled with emotions with a message.
Why? Sanjay was only 13 years old. Why you had to shoot little Sanjay? I lost my son, and your mom lost you also.
And even through the heartbreak, this mother holding on to the hope of a miracle.
Miracles do happen, and I'm trusting God for Sanjay to get up.
In Queens, Alan Devlin, CBS News, New York.
Now, the way that area is set up, I wouldn't be surprised if an arrest wasn't made sooner than later. It's a lot going on over there where you have a bunch of stores that have surveillance cameras set up where you could possibly track the movements of the suspect from all angles. There's a McDonald's on the corner, a U-Haul facility up the block, 2 gas stations, the Dunkin' Donuts in that parking lot by itself, followed by other stores that are also in the same parking lot, and you have a supermarket up the block. This was literally done in broad daylight, so I'm sure it should take no time for the suspect to be caught. Prayers go out to the victim's family, and we hope that they get the justice that they deserve. Now, a GoFundMe has been put out for the victim, and if you would like to donate, then I'll leave a link to it pinned in the comments so y'all can check it out there. But in the meantime, rest in peace go out to Sanjay Samuel, condolences to his family. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'm going to keep on dropping. I'm out.